where you are now on Mother Earth. And we will
Dice
take a few
que, por
minutes
favor,
to
digan
look.
ustedes tu nombre, Rocío, y de dónde eres. Rocío Arevalo, de Quito, Perú. Y Quito es Perú y esto es Sudamérica.
Y ahora, Catherine.
Ellas hablan en sus lenguas de ellas, así que ustedes,
Georgian
si desean,
Bay,
pueden hablar en
Ontario,
su lengua, en su
Canada.
lengua también.
Catherine is from Aotearoa, Michigan, and now Maryland.
South America. South America. Ya, la otra es Olinda Silvano.
Rocío Arevalo from Peru, Canada, British Columbia.
Olinda Silvano.
Old Forth in North Carolina, Pennsylvania, London, UK.
UK, Londres.
Finland.
Olinda Silvano.
And usually Zambia. Can you see our circle? North Carolina. It becomes a Rorschach design. Vienna. I'm doing gallery again. I would like to see everyone, so please don't feature me on the screen. I like to see everyone's names and faces.
Yes, if you get spotlighted, you can go back to gallery view and everyone else can still see.
Okay. Peru, Virgin Island, yeah. So we have most continents, or all continents, I would say. Oregon, USA. I'm not seeing her typing, but Bilhah is a Hebrew name spelled in Hebrew, so probably from Israel as well. Yael, Alaska, and originally Israel. I didn't have a chance to type. I'm in California now, but originally born in Romania and raised in Israel. Osage Islands, near St. Louis, and originally from Portland. So many of us are moving about the globe from where we entered to where we ended up, and maybe still moving. So Yael, I think that most everyone introduced themselves, so I'll say again, welcome one and all, and hand it over to you.
Thank you, Diana. Thank you, everyone, for coming to these circles, because it is said in the ancient teachings here in Alaska and in other traditions, indigenous traditions and cultures, that when women come together in true sisterhood, connect to the womb inside and then to those around us ceremonially, and then put the energy collectively outside of our something truly new to possibly be birthed into the world. And that is needed for humanity to have a future. So thank you for coming, and thank you for co-creating this circle with us. And this circle is a co-creation, even though some of us are only listening and some of us are listening and talking, because this is a talking circle. The circle does, or based on talking circles, because it is broadcasted, so it's not confidential as talking circles are, because we do want to enable that to people who are maybe not present now, but will want to listen further. And we want to offer that to the world and to others around us as another form of really being on this planet, because we are very used to the Western culture, and this is a very different way of being. And we find when women lead this, when it's a feminine space, it creates like the initial feminine space we all came from, which is a womb. An energetic womb is actually created when this happens in a good way. For this to happen in a good way, we need everyone to listen without judgment. And for that, we go to the guidelines of the traditional talking circles as they were handed down to us by our Yupik elder, Rita Blumenstein, here in Alaska. She's done visiting this world, but before that, she found this in many traditional indigenous cultures she met, and she wrote down these guidelines and gave them to us. So I'm going to read them to you, and the first guideline is to set the table kind of for this potluck of offerings, and the last one that if anyone has a change to make or to offer, then they do it at the end of us setting the table. So please listen as we're going through them. So this is about a talking circle, which means the circle does the talking. We are doing the listening. So even when our speakers speak, it's the circle doing the talking through them. And they are also listening as the words are coming from their mouth or from the mouth of their other self. And if you notice, if you've been with us in the past, it is very often that you have a thought, and even though you're just listening and this thought just comes, someone will then say it, one of the speakers. This is why we requested these women of wisdom to do the core ripple of the circle for us all to circle around it in a good way. And the way our elders open up, our women of wisdom open up, is when the listening is good. And I hope will be able to witness that today and to feel that. It's not a passive witnessing. The circles are going through us, not only in front of our eyes. So may this be a good listening circle. We wish to ask you to listen with respect. This is a potluck of offerings. As you're listening, be respectful, even if something doesn't nourish you. It may nourish others, and we are all our other selves. So when we listen, when we share, respect yourself, your other self, respect time and attention. We have quite a lot of speakers today. We're very fortunate and rich. So each speaker will have about 6 minutes to share. And for that, we request for everyone deep listening and for the words to be ripe and the time to be ripe. Our speakers can say, I would like to speak later. It's also about that. And we'll get back to them. Please speak when the word in a moment is ripe. We also ask to listen with an innocence like that of a child hearing something for the first time, without judgment, without resistance. First time someone told you of the tooth fairy, you didn't go into, oh, it's true, oh, it's not true. In the very first moment that you're listening, you're just taking the story in. When you heard of pyramids, when you heard of platypus, when you heard of another country with a weird name, first of all, you listen and you take it in. We would like to go back to that way of listening with innocence, without judgment, without thinking about what I'm going to say or what I think about what was just said, but just sensing it, absorbing it with innocence. We need to stay clear of agendas, titles, flags. This is not a circle for counseling or marketing or lecturing or arguing or planning any kind of reply. Allow yourself to open to your other self while they're sharing. So even if I'm usually a deer in my experience in life, and now the lion is talking about the experience of a chase, I can listen without judgment, without thinking, oh, but I'm the deer. Leave all of the but aside for a minute and just be able to watch that movie, if you will, from the eye of the lion, even though you're usually the deer, or vice versa. There's no cross-talking. And this is about the way we speak. You do not even have to speak. We have had circles where even some of our women of wisdom said, I wish to not speak, and just pass the talking item, the virtual talking item, to someone else. You do not have to speak, because as one of our elders from Australia said, even if you do not speak, you will be heard. That we do our best to speak the truth. Words aren't always accurate enough to speak the truth, but they are the tool that we have. So we only speak of what we know to be true through our own lived experiences, not things that we have borrowed or were taught in some form, but things that are true for us. And the same experience can be very different for two people, even in the same situation. So, if something happened for me and Emmy, and then one of us thought it was funny, it could be very devastating or triggering for the other. So when I speak about it in the circle, I can say I was walking with a friend and then this happened, it was so funny. And she can say, I was walking in the circle with a friend and this happened and it triggered me because, and then go into her truth, and you can see how we didn't even name each other, but you can see how these different experiences can be different, yet true for each of us. And sometimes you may be experiencing something like what I describe, or like what my other self has described. So allow yourself that. Allow yourself, just like the womb, to expand, even if initially it's not very comfortable. It creates this amazing possibility for something truly new to start existing. A drop of someone else, sorry. My internet is very stable. So just a drop of someone else and their truth can strike something in you. And if you expand and allow it to exist, it can start a new existence in you and possibly outside of you. So may this be the case with this circle. And now is the time where if anyone has a change to offer, please unmute yourself or write it in the chat box now. We will give a few seconds for that. Okay. Thank you all for being here. Sorry. Being here and allowing this. And Ia, can you please give us the opening blessing and open the sacred space for us?
Greetings to everybody, and I'm so grateful that we're here in this sacred space. Imagine that, I didn't have time to ask you, but just imagine you have a bowl of water in front of you. And this water is your conduit. This water is the water that you offering this blessing to. So we're going to call in the spirits of water, because this water is like the umbilical fluid that runs in the wombs of the mother, runs in the heart of the earth. So we ask that this water that we bring to this circle, this water, these wounds that we bring to this circle, be that conduit for now, for right now. Just imagine that you are the ones who are called here right now, in this circle, in this sacred moment. And you are able to take this water and give blessings to this water and ask for the healing that we need right now on this planet. And call for that healing. Trust that healing, that I do not know what it takes for the beehive or the bees to make a hive, but I trust that she knows her way. So we do not know the magic of this water that we are offering right now. We do not know the magic that lies deep in the bottom of the sea and the bottom of the ocean, but we call upon you this day. We call upon this energy this day. You know that we need to transmute something needs to happen different for us in these times, and allow it to begin in these wombs that give birth to life. Even if we're not yet bleeding anymore, but we still got the magic of the wombs. And we trust this magic to go out from us into the universe, into all that is. And we pray for this peace. We pray for balance and harmony on the earth. We pray and we release those things right now that are no longer serving us. Those judgments that separates us across these continents, across these waves in life. Let us envision a new earth arriving out of this womb time right now. Let us imagine that. And I invite us each to take these waters, if we can, on a daily basis. Let's take this water. And maybe there's a tree, maybe there's an ocean near you, maybe there's a water stream near you, a lake near you, a river. Let's take those waters. And we continuously to utter this prayer. Oh, Mother, we ask that we join again in this sacred knowingness of how to bring life forth on this earth and to create balance. We as a collected bodies of mothers who gather here, help us to envision a new way for our children, our great-grandchildren, that generation yet to be born. We thank you so much for this gathering of hearts and minds that sits in this circle today. And so it be, and so it be. Ashe, Aho, Amen, and all the many other voices of prayer that goes out from us today. Thank you.
Ashe, thank you, Ia. And I always have this bottle with me. I have a few actually that are in every circle. And last time we were talking about how do we meet the heat, and it was days before the fires in Maui happened. And so, Ia, as you are talking about the waters that are needed to create something new, may we offer also the water to soothe the fires and to help create something new in places where there seemed to be nothing. And speaking of what seemed to be, or the things that we don't see, and we need to know that they are there, even if they are not seen. We are here in this circle, we're talking about, before you all came on, we're talking about gravity. And gravity also is a truth that we cannot see, but we cannot all feel. And the first thing that happens for these circles to be connected, as gravity connects us to Earth, it doesn't glue us, it doesn't detach us, it keeps us connected, is the connection. And I would like to invite Diana to help us connect to the womb inside us and around us. Or if you do not carry a womb, please connect to the womb that you were carried in. Thank you, Diana.
Thank you, Ia and Yael. I will start as usual with a flame. Where is my camera? Igniting one flame with another. And inviting you to close your eyes and connect with the flame within. And take a moment to breathe in and to breathe out, realizing that we have the opportunity to renew ourselves every breath we take. With every breath that we take, we can release what doesn't serve us. With every breath we take, we can renew and inhale the freshness of a new moment right now. And today we are working with the invisible, of which air is one, inviting us to put one palm on our heart and one on our womb. If you do not have a womb in your body, then put both of your palms on your heart. And let's breathe together. Reminding those of you who may have been born with a womb, but it was surgically removed, that you still have an energetic and etheric womb. And allowing ourselves to realize that our womb is an enclosure around space. Allowing ourselves to breathe into the space of the womb, or if you don't have one, the space in the chamber of your heart, as if it were a bellow. Inhaling to allow space for the visions, the creations that we conceive in our mind's eyes, in the invisible realm. And a contraction where we release those visions, those new ideas and initiatives out into the world, into the universe. For conception needs space to grow in. And a new vision needs an enclosure where to be nourished, and a place, a launching pad from which to be birthed into the world. What is stirring in you, and how can you make space in your womb, in your heart, in your being, for that to be expanding, nourished, fostered, come to completion and be born into the world. In conjunction with the invisible air, we call on invisible forces of the universe, of the universal womb, of the universal mother, to allow us to breathe together into our visions, to conceive together new ideas and new initiatives, and to birth them together into the world. And with your eyes closed, with the spaciousness that you nourish within you, begin to return your consciousness into the room where you're at, into this moment in time. If you feel moved to change the position of your hands, you can put them in your lap or to your sides, or keep them where they are. But come back in your consciousness. Let your toes wiggle. Let your fingers move. Stretch if you need to feel your body more present and yourself in it. And when you are ready, allow your eyes to gently open. And welcome back.
Diana. And first, I just want to apologize because I mixed up between the beginning and the end. Kumu Sabra was supposed to give the opening blessing and Ia the ending. So Kumu Sabra, Auntie Sabra, you will give us the ending one if that's okay. Thank you. I'm sorry. I guess spirit just carried me away in a different direction. And another thing that is coming up is Celine and the other elder that she has brought for us as this amazing present. They need to leave early, so I will ask Celine and the other elder with her to share. And Celine, if you can introduce the other elder, please.
Thank you so much, and good morning, good afternoon, good night for all our elders living there. I am here with Olga and Olinda. They are the greatest leader of the Shipibo Conibo community, and we together want to offer to you a blessing and also a chanting. So we will start haciendo bulla. Gracias. Thank you.
Good morning. Soy Olga. Mi nombre es Olga, maestra Olga, y ahora la presentación voy a cantar un ícaro de la protección.
Now her name is Olga. She is a maestra, is a healer from sacred plants, so on entheogens plants, and she wants to bless you with a singing, with a special singing.
Hola, my name is Olinda Silvano, Shipibo Conibo, dirigente.
Ella es Olinda Silvano. Ella es la lideresa. Sorry, I am speaking in Spanish. Her name is Olinda Silvano. She is the general leader, is the major leader of the community where we are. This is the ethnic group Shipibo Conibo from the Amazonian jungle of Peru, South America. And we are very grateful to share this moment, this circle of guns, with other women from other ethnic groups. So we want to share our power and our humble heart with you through this offering.
Somos muralistas también.
We are an artistic group. We want to offer to you something from our culture. Allá, porque van a ver. And ella es Vilma. She is
Elena Valera.
She is Elena Valera. As we are gathering together here in Cantagallo, the Shipibo Conibo community. We all are indigenous, belonging to an ethnic group. And so we are also going to join this gathering, offering our blessing for you.
Mato quiero valores. Kano kano paege mato kano bano kano 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 jamangi payang ake kogingi payang payang bogingi Gracias.
Bueno, nosotros cantamos así porque somos pueblos indígenas del pueblo Shipibo-Conibo, en Loreto, también Ucayali, y también utilizamos plantas de protección, plantas de sanación, y todo nosotros nos curamos con eso, porque la planta es sagrada.
Linda and Olga and also Olinda want to say that this chanting is an offering to the air, because we were knowing today we are offering to the air, and the air help us to give away our worries, the poverty and the diseases. Is how we conceptualize the air. And Olinda says that she is the greatest leader of this indigenous group. And she says, we here, we are women who used to heal with ayahuasca and with other plants. And these plants are protective plants and also plants who can cure the humanity. And so we are also here with Rocio. And we want also to give a speech about. So as Olinda made, now Olga is going to talk.
El ícaro que les envié, le canté, es una protección. Es una energía de la planta medicinal. No es en una fiesta, sino en una ceremonia muy especial. El ícaro que significa es una conexión con las otras hermanas que están lejos y también con mucho amor. Estamos cantando este ícaro, es un ícaro de la medicina a través de la ceremonia que cantamos nosotros. Es una ayuda más para toda la gente que están sufriendo, para toda la gente que necesita una ayuda, y estamos aquí para ayudarle, y por eso les mando un saludo muy fuerte, un abrazo muy fuerte también, y con este ícaro.
She says that this Ícaro is named the singing, and the singing has a power. The Ícaro is so powerful. The Ícaro can cure. And so this Ícaro is not for partying. It's just for a special ceremony. Like this gathering, these women in a circle of wombs. And the singing she made is a protection. It's a protective Ícaro. It's used just for ceremonies, for protection, for cure, and also sending to you our energy of protection of the mother earth, of the mother wind, of preservation of the fire, it says. And she wish you all in this circle get protected with the singing we are doing. And now, Elena. Now, Elena.
Mi nombre es Elena Valera Vázquez. Soy de la comunidad Royal Alto Ucayali, que es la selva, en Talpa. Yo, bueno, también sé algunas plantas también para ayudar a los hermanos también, a los hermanos que están un poco más enfermos, ¿no? Entonces tenemos que ayudar conociendo las plantas, conociendo las plantas medicinales, es para ayudar a curar, ¿sí? Conectar también los que están un poco bloqueados, ¿sí? Y tenemos que ayudar a la parte psicológica.
Muchas gracias. Elena says he's sending all our women energy for you, to cure also the planet. And we are also praying for all the people that is in need right now. Thank you. May you have some talk about us. Thank you.
Hamilton.
And Rocio is also with us. Rocio is a healer. So we are here 5 women. And Rocio is the person who works with the health of the people. So she will say some message for you.
Buenas tardes con todos. Soy Rocío Arevalo, técnica de enfermería. Vivo acá actualmente en Cantagallo. También estoy encargada del tópico de la comunidad y el tópico atiende a toda la población de Cantagallo. Y pues últimamente hemos estado pensando en crear una farmacia indígena juntamente con ustedes para que toda la población se pueda atender, ¿no? En sus culturas, tanto en lo medicinal como cultural. Más bien le agradecería que nos tome en cuenta el tema del proyecto porque queremos que se haga acá en la comunidad porque realmente la gente lo necesita. Estamos ahorita en una campaña médica que se está dando en el tópico y esas donaciones, esos medicamentos, esas medicinas son donadas por gente voluntaria, ¿no? Gente de buen corazón que apoya a la comunidad. Y nosotros también, como personal de salud, estamos apoyando ahí a honores. Todo suma ahí y es para el bien de la comunidad. Les agradezco por todo y muchas bendiciones para todos. Gracias.
We want to bless this circle of women, and it's so happy to introduce you these leaders, indigenous leaders. So we all are healers here, and she is a leader of the health of the community, and right now, so is a healer. As a healer, she is blessing to all of you, thinking in the air as an element who can cure of our diseases. And she wants to let you know that these people in this community, Shipibo Conibo, we have too many diseases and the poverty is cruel here. So she wants to ask you for your praying for the situation we are having here. And so if we resist, if we are resilient, it's because our culture, our cultural patterns and our beliefs. So she is the leader of the topic, medicina, tópico de medicina. And she, as a healer, is very worried about the health of the people. So thank you so much for this. We are waiting for the other women leaders. Thank you. Acá está el varón. Ya. Ahorita.
Celine, can you share a bit of your wisdom about air for us
Oh, yes.
and the invisible?
Oh, yes. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you so much. In my culture, Quechua, the air is called Guaira. Guaira Cuna is like, say, the personality of the air. Oh, so it's difficult to translate, but we do consider the air is a brother and is a male entity. And so when we feel him, we call him, brother, are you here? Or when we need wind, we call him and says, brother wind, please come with us. So briefly also, following our tradition, the air as a brother can help us to take away our bad thoughts, our bad feelings, and ask him for take this away. Please, wind, take this away. When a woman has the power of the wind to put away your worries, is called Waira Warmi. And if it is a man, is called Waira Kuna. And so as an entity is our friend, is in our side and can cure of us and also can put away our bad luck and our worries. So I want to bless all of you, and I will ask now to the brother air, to the wind, to come with us and to pray for all of us. Thank you so much. Nos falta presentar un hermano, me dirán cuándo. Please.
Thank you, Celine. Unanchi.
Gracias.
Come and spread their newborns, really, be it sorry, my internet is really unstable. So we have the bees and the other little insects, and we have even some plants that just use the wind to spread their next generation. And there's nothing physical that they do themselves, and they rely on the wind to dance, to move. I was once at a place where there were no plants and no flowing water, and there was huge wind and you couldn't see it. The wind is not something that we see unless there is something that can move with the wind. So thank you for all these reminders. And of course, the pandemic really showed us how we are connected by the unseen, by the air that we all breathe. So may we send healing from this circle also to the Shipibo Konibo community, and have this reciprocal relationship that is good with our brother air. It's also male in Hebrew, and wind is both. Maybe Diana will speak to that if that would come to her when she speaks. Thank you so much. I would like now to invite Suzanne. Can you share?
Okay. I've been quite involved with the study of light, being an artist, and I've been taking a lot of notes within myself, which started with a voice that said to me, "Suzanne, you are light." And I just stopped and I went, huh? And then the voice went on to say, every human being has an inner light. And it's the inner light that most of us are not taught much about. And as an artist, I go to my inner light because I don't really know what it is until I start making images on paper or painting or whatever. And so the inner light is what has been given us to be seen, looked at by God. And so the light that is our inner light is what God gave us. Every single human being, every living thing has a light. And that light, if we plug into it as my inner light, it gives me the rainbow, gives me color, all kinds of color. I'm just like, whoa. And that's because our inner light was given us to see the outer light. And most of us have not been brought up on that. I happen to be, because my parents were into everything. And so that's what I want to pass on, is that's what our real aspiration is to plug into our inner light and ask for guidance to open our eyes to see the inner light in every human being, every human being. And that is where our feeling for the Holy Spirit comes in, as we say, thank you for everyone. No matter what they're doing, what they're saying, they are still the human inner light. And so that's what I'm very concerned with right now, is returning to that light within us and asking for guidance. And one of the things that proved to us the inner light is we have been given the rainbow. And every time you see a rainbow, that's how can I see a rainbow that has no entity? It's just a bunch of lights. But then you say, oh my God, that's it. It's the inner light now that's showing me light, the light within each one of you, each one of you. Your light is shining back at me, because that's what you really are, is the inner light. That's your blessing. That is your place on the planet. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Suzanne, for the reminder of the invisible that is in us and how we can connect to it and make it visible or make other things that are visible to remind us and each other, just like you all are my other selves, reminding me of so many things that I usually forget. And Auntie Sabra, Kum Sabra, will you please share?
Thank you so much. Oh, Suzanne, that was just beautiful. Thank you all very much for sharing. Muchas gracias. As I sit here on this beautiful island of Kauai, and I look at the clouds that are moving above me, and the blue sky, and the breeze, and the healthy plants, I am so grateful for what we call Ha. Ha is the breath of life. Alo is the presence of the breath of life. Aloha is a foundational principle of our Hawaiian and people and our relatives. Aloha is the sharing of the breath of life. So I am inspired by all the work that you all are doing, by our sisters in South America, by our sisters in Aotearoa, by our sisters in North America, by our sisters in all parts of the world, and our brothers too, who are here. I share this love of life, this love of nature, this love of, there's a dragonfly that's flying around here in the garden. It's beautiful, and it lights on all the flowers and zooms off. There are bees here too, and they are also attracted to the lights. And I thank you so much for offering your prayers and your thoughts for the people of Lahaina, Maui, who have suffered tremendous losses due to the wildfires that consumed their community, their homes, their families. We will be a long time mending here in Hawaii, especially on the island of Maui. And the island of Hawaii also has been experiencing wildfires. We are very conscious of them on the island here on Kauai too, because the last 2 years we have had far less rain than we normally do. And many of our uplands, our agricultural, our pastoral areas are much, much drier. The plants that I used to rely on to make kapa, our bark cloths, they've been very dry. And so what tells me is the underground water that flows through these areas has decreased. There's only a few areas where they're still thriving. And I have studied those areas closely to see the water is flowing underground. The mountains are capturing whatever water there is and flowing through. But this breath of life, this ha, this makani, these winds that both feed our island, they bring the clouds that are captured by the mountains, and their moisture seeps into the earth. It's all a cycle. It's all a part of nature. And we must be very cognizant of the role that each one of these plants, animals, birds, insects plays in this cycle of life. I have so many thoughts going through my head. I have friends who were affected by these fires. I urge all of you to be aware of what's around you and to be prepared should you need to leave in a hurry. I urge you to be aware, I'm sure you are, of the water that flows through your community, where it comes from, how it's distributed, where it goes, because our lives depend on the quality of the air that we breathe, on the quality of the water that we drink, on the quality of our life. I had several chants going through my head to do for you today, but I think I will pass the torch on to the next speaker and save that chant to the end. Yael, back to you.
Mahalo, Kusebra. So well spoken. And thank you for reminding us to put consciousness to that which we so often don't see, whether it's because we don't bother to look or because it is not seen. But we can open our inner eyes to see that which may have not happened, but might happen, and be more prepared, be more conscious, be more aware. So thank you for bringing that to us. And I would like to invite Jeannie, if you would please share. Jeannie Whitelow.
Oh, no, interesting that you should call me next. As Sabra was speaking, I was feeling into being in Hawaii, where I did a lot of my Zen training. And my teacher, Tanoi Roshi, had initiated an Aloha project to really help people understand the Aloha spirit. And it was the first time I really thought about language as the breath of life. Language itself, the language we share in this circle, the breath of life. If you take in a breath right now, and you feel the air come into your own body as it becomes you, right? As it becomes you. And as you exhale, it becomes a blessing through your words, the words you spoke, the words you didn't speak, but we heard anyway, as Yael would say. The blessings we heard, even if we don't understand the meaning, we can feel the energy of those words, can't we? We feel it. We feel blessed from Peru. We feel blessed from Hawaii. Why is that? Well, because that which is invisible is what's real. And the form often fools us. The forms often fool us, but what we're sensing beneath the form is very trustworthy. And isn't it miraculous that we can come together in this time and feel the pure vibration of air through our circle and all the energy it carries, whether we think of that energy as light, as sound, as pure energy, whatever part of the band you work with, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. That breath of life is what we share. And somehow, some way, by how we breathe together, something can be born. I'm so grateful for learning about breath. You know, I was a childhood asthmatic. I couldn't breathe for many years. And as Yael invited me into this circle to say a few words, she said, well, you know, you've trained in these Eastern traditions that the elders would say knew a lot about air. And she's right, they do. Thank goodness, right? And all of these traditions knew how to integrate breath into living, into movement, into everything we do. And I've been fortunate to learn them. What I would say to each of us is that breath is a great ambassador, because it can touch what we know and are conscious of. Like if I asked you to hold your breath, you could, but when you're not thinking about it, you're still breathing. So it seeps deeper than our conscious mind can touch. And in that unconscious realm, we touch everything. We touch everyone. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing this breath of life. Back to you, Yael.
Thank you, Jeannie, for the breath that is birthed. When you speak, there is some sound like form is false and breath is birth. And thank you for helping us to connect and to be more conscious to that thing that the first thing you ever took in was not your mother's milk, it was the air. And since then, we often forget that we even do it, and how powerful it is to just put some light on that. So thank you. Catherine, can you please share next?
Kia ora. I just wanted to start by thanking Diana for the meditation that helped settle us in, and Ia for your prayers and your opening. The key idea I got from that was balance. And I had some thoughts around that. I've been very looking forward to today because I'm a very airy natured person. My sun sign is Gemini and my ascendant is Aquarius, and I have planets which in my natal chart have aspects in Libra. So I'm super airy, which can be good, but also a little problematic if I'm out of balance. I mean, what are some of the air characteristics of the zodiac signs? We're thinkers, we're in our heads a lot, we're communicators, and we analyze things and we probe and we test things, which is good for my kai whakatara training, obviously, but kai whakatara meaning a provocateur, someone who tests things. You need those people in society because establishment narratives aren't always on point, right? So we're good for that. We love information and data, but on the flip side, we can sometimes be too much in our heads, not enough in our hearts. We should use our emotional intelligence a bit more sometimes. Sometimes we're so much into ideas, we forget about acting on them. So, there's that side of the equation. We need to, instead of having paralysis by analysis, which many of us may relate to, we need to put things into practice and take action. And also there's this need, because we're so much in the heavens of our ideas and thinking, we need to be grounded, and earthing ourselves is really good. Go lie on the ground, hug a tree that's got roots connected with the earth and Mother Nature. Sometimes it's good for me to be reminded of that, lest we drift away into fantasy. So yeah, balance is a big message there. The air teaches us, and as we breathe out, so we breathe in. And also the moments in between the breath when we're neither. Those are really important moments. You're just still and you're just being present and still. That's very important too, to take those moments, take time out. And speaking of air, I just want to go into, I was thinking of one of our Māori sayings, always go to our language ultimately in these talking circles, because it's foundational. It's where a lot of our wisdom lies. And one of the sayings that came to me, a combination of the female element as well as the breath, was this saying, me aro ki te ha o hine ahone. Pay attention to the breath of hine ahone. Ha is breath, just like, Sabra was talking about. That's the same for Māori. Ha means breath or air. Hine ahone was the first human created from the divine masculine energy of Tāne Mahuta. Tāne, who is the supernatural ancestor, who was the overlord of the forests and the birds and ferns and forest plants and such. So he combined his divine masculine energy with the divine feminine energy, which resided in Papatuanuku, the earth. And from that was birthed Hine Ahone. And Hine Ahone was a female, a woman. The first human was a woman. That's awesome. Not to brag, just saying. But, you know, what can we learn from that? That infusion of Maori into the earth to produce the first human. Yeah. Well, a breath of life is not just as we know it today, superficially in a physiological sense, essential for life, but it's where this other saying, Tihe Mauri Ora, comes from. Tihe Mauri Ora, Tihe is like the sneeze. So when Hineahone became alive, she took a breath and the first thing she did was, she sneezed. Tihe, she sneezed. And so we know there was life. Okay. And Mauri is life force or life energy. So it's referencing what Tāne Mahuta and Papa Tuanuku infused into her was life. It was a life force. And ora means well-being, to be thriving and alive. So Tihe Mauri Ora, that sentence reminds us of that whole narrative, and to be grateful and appreciative for life. In our origin story of life, it came from the supernatural ancestors, and we're elementals. That's what we are. We're born from the elements, from the hearts of stars and beyond. So we can have appreciation there. And in that saying, me aro ki te hao hineahoni, you hear the word aro. Aro, close to alo, which Sabra spoke of, and aloha. It's the same for aroha. Aro means to have attention and put focus on something. Aro, ha, the breath, put attention on your breath, and you get love and compassion. If you think about it, the ultimate kind of love and compassion is knowing your connectedness to everything and everyone, which is the card I drew this morning. Connect. I think my time is up. So thank you very much for sharing today. Always awesome. And it really reinforces in me the things that are important to remember and connect to connect to. So kia ora. Thank you.
Thank you, Catherine, for the reconnection. May we have aro and aro on all of the things that have been shared and will be shared in the circle. And with that, I am asking Ia if you can share with us.
It's interesting. I thought I had shared. So we've been talking about this light energy, and it's just and all this sound energy. And it feels to me that we are reminding ourselves to be in relationship with the elementals of what we have forgotten, and to be in touch with the elementals right now is so important, that we reconnect with the elementals. And sometimes I think that the fires are inviting us to remember its role in that life force energy and what we've forgotten. I don't know that to be true. It may just be reminding us to turn to it and say, you know, fire, I forgot you. And I really want to come today, and I want to thank you. Remember your service that you brought to us and how you serve us. And maybe I've not been paying attention to you. And we might want to be invited to the waters and say, that next drink of water that I take, I want to remember that I had not been in gratitude for you. So thank you, water, for quenching my thirst. And anything that we're gathering now, it feels to me that we're in a time of that stirring that the ancestors talk about, that a stirring that's going on the planet right now that's calling us back to right order. And it feels to me that it's calling us to remember from where we come from. Can I remember from where I come from? And what is it that I need to let go of? What is it that I'm not in gratitude around? Because I found myself complaining about all these things. So how now can I turn to you and say, I'm so grateful. I'm so sorry. Thank you, Bert, for bringing the message this morning. Hawk medicine, wing ones, that I forgot that you were the messengers and that you was bringing me a message, and I forgot to say, pause and say, thank you. What is the message you bring me today? And maybe I have not been paying attention to you, sweet hummingbird, as you come and take this nectar from these flowers. I want to offer you some sweet water this morning. Thank you, hummingbird, for your sweet message today. What is that sweet message today? Can I pause and breathe? And maybe that everything that is stirring right now is telling us that maybe we need to slow down and breathe in. We talked about that breath. We need to take that breath in and say, thank you, breath. Thank you, breath of air. Thank you for life. I remember my great-grandmother would not talk to us in the morning. And I used to remember how would she not talk to us if we was in our home. She would say, we know children want to get up in the morning and want to get breakfast or whatever they want to do. My great-grandmother would say, oh, not child. And she would walk out into the air and she would take her head and she would rub it. And I didn't know at that time that she was turning to those 4 directions and said, thank you for this morning. And she rubbed herself and she come back inside and she said, now, child, what is it that you wanted from me? Now, child, we're ready for breakfast. And maybe those are some things we need to remember, that in this technical world, we are moving too fast, but we can pause and say, even to it, that thank you, we created all of this to collectively, we created this. We, the human species, we call this into being. So now, how can we be in right relationship with the right use of you, as opposed to it overcoming us? Maybe that's what creation is sort of calling us to do right now, to take a pause and take that breath and say, thank you. I not paid attention. I need to get out of my doing mind and I need to come into this sitting mind and be in right relationship with you. I need to take time and go sit by the water today. I need to take time and go sit by the tree today. I need to tend the garden of life today. And then I turn inside. I need to take care of this inner garden of life by silence myself and listening more carefully today. Maybe that's what creation has done to us today, is knocking us and pushing us and saying, children, mothers, come back and listen again. And we weave this hoop, reweave this hoop, and look at how we can mend our ways. Or maybe there are things that we no longer need today. Can we release those? So, oh, water, will you take these and melt them away today? Thank you. Thank you, water. I thank you, wind. I thank you, trees. And thank you. And maybe I can take this breath of air as opposed to bemoaning and send this air out into my other worlds and my other communities, because we have this capacity to breathe into all of these places. Oh, what a great day this is today, that we can meet all our relatives on all these different shores, no matter where we are today. Thank you. I'm so grateful for all the voices that can breathe. I'm so grateful that we can take a pause and breathe together. That impulse, that breath. And we can be that light. I am the light. You are the light. I am the light. You are the light. And so it be. Thank you.
Thank you, Ia. So many thoughts on this. When you were talking about returning to or remembering where we came from, I remembered how, when you give birth, like breathe, right? There's the breathing thing that is so present, even people who are totally disconnected from the spiritual part of things. Breath is a really important part of birth, also for the birth giver. And I don't know, you just kind of brought me there. And also I often am very much like what Catherine was describing. I'm in my head and I'm running around, and I have ADD. So it's not the H, like I don't necessarily run around physically, but I'm running around in my mind. And it's often like, I can't even breathe. I don't even have a moment to breathe. So that reminder of take a moment to breathe. And as you say, breathe in and breathe out and be grateful. And I don't know, something about the way you said it, the light in me, the light in you, it felt like a breath going in and out. And I thought of, I have a tree here that I often visit and go and sit on. And suddenly when you spoke, I thought it's not only me taking in and I often thank the trees for the oxygen and the plants, but also can I breathe out and say, here is my offering to you. May you breathe in a good way, what I'm putting out there in a good way. I don't know, just that consciousness. So thank you for these reminders, and to take the time, to take the pause, and your grandmother just charging herself with everything that is before going to give something to the ones who are depending on her. To take that pause to get in order to then re-give in a better way. Thank you, and everyone in this circle that is in itself, I feel this kind of pause. So thank you for allowing us to breathe. And Diana, take us to your breath, to your invisible, to your wind, to your thoughts, please. That which is not visible, make it visible.
Thank you very much, Yael, and everyone who spoke so far. I'm struck. Let me change my gallery view so that I can see you all. I'm struck by the fact that breathing is making the outside in, taking the outside in, and bringing our inside out. It's mixing with the world. And I'm reminded of a Costa Rican elder woman who said to me many years ago that one of the things that she likes to tell her daughter when she needs to remind her daughter of her own mother's age, she says to her, I breathed much longer on this earth. So breath is a measure of time. We measure time by breath. And breath in Hebrew, so I'm going back like Catherine to the great teacher, which is the language of our ancestors. Breath and soul are the same, almost the same word. So listen, neshima, neshama. Neshima is breath. Neshama is soul. So when we breathe, we ensoul ourselves. We take in and we breathe out, we exchange soul qualities. To me, this was very striking. And looking at air and light, Suzanne brought light in. So in Hebrew, air and light are one letter apart. Or, avir. May not sound like that when you're not a Hebrew speaker, but it's only one letter apart, or and avir. So the or, the light, is the conduit, is the quality that travels on air. So the air is what allows light to be visible. Think about that. Without air, we wouldn't see light. So we're talking about how to trust the invisible. So I'm going again to the Hebrew. Trust, emun, faith, emunah. Emun and emunah. And another one, so there is emun, emunah, imun. You can hear how close they are. So trust, faith, practice. So what the language is telling us is that trust comes from faith, and faith comes from practicing. It's not something that you take on as a given. it's something that you practice with every breath, with every day. How do I trust the invisible more? Because the visible, a lot of it proved to be untrustworthy. A lot of the visible is very untrustworthy. So how can I train myself, practice the faith of trusting the invisible? And that's a call for all of us to make our daily practice. So maybe one other thing to focus other than gratitude with the breath in and the breath out is, how do I trust more the invisible in this moment? And we trust the invisible with every breath that we take, because we take invisible breath in and it sustains our lives for as long as we live. So can that be the foundation, the breath? Can the breath be the foundation of trusting the invisible? Bringing soul into breath, bringing light into air, bringing practice into faith and into trust. May we all learn to trust more the invisible and let go, be willing to let go more of the visibility and allow ourselves to just have leaps of faith into the unknown and invisible. Thank you.
תודה רבה, Diana. Beautiful. I was also thinking how ruach, wind in Hebrew, is both male and female, and how ruach and revach are also one letter apart, even though it may sound a bit different, but you can hear ruach, revach. And we don't see the wind, the ruach, without the gaps, without the revach. And the revach has been very present. And Diana, as you were talking about trust, I was also kind of feeling a kind of wish in myself to wish that my body will know to take in only that which I need. And I was like, how do I trust my body to take in what I need? And then another question came, it's like, can your body trust you to put in only what you need to put in? And so there's discernment. How do we consciously trust, and also trust someone might say something and you feel an energy to the word that is either good and you're drawn to it, or something is off. And two people can say it the same way with the same smile, but something in you knows. How do we trust that knowing? How do we trust that invisible energy, like Ginny was describing? Sometimes it's a sound, sometimes it's a smell, but sometimes it's not even that. Can we still trust that? So speaking of sound, I would like to close this beautiful circle with something from one of the best sound masters that I know and love, and waiting for your disc, Sabra. So Auntie Sabra, please give us the chant that is coming through you.
Thank you so much. I have enjoyed every minute of this. I have enjoyed listening to each one of you from around the world. And as we connect to the wind, to the rain, I am also interested in your connection to the stars. All right. So if Yael, if you can put that on for a future discussion, it is something that is very close to my mind and my heart at this time. Because before we had a written language, our traditions were memorized in chants, very, very often lengthy, thousands of lines, chants that have been passed down through the generations, many of which I am still trying to master. And some of these chants refer to the stars, the planets. And these were the elements of nature that guided us, that we navigate by on the ocean and in life. We have a canoe now, our Hokulea canoe, that is sailing from Alaska. I believe it has reached Seattle now, is in the Washington area, and we'll do a circle around the Pacific. So thank you so much for your good thoughts today, for all of your sharing from wherever in the world you are. It is just truly amazing, this group that Yale has brought together. I thank you so much. And I close with this chant that speaks of sharing aloha. It speaks of sharing haloa, the long breath of life. It speaks of the fine mat that Yale has laid out before us for us to sit on, to share on, to be one on. Uhola hia kamakaloa la, puai ke aloha la, kukai ia kahaloa la, pavehi mai na lehua, mai ka ho'oku ia kahalawai la, mahalo e na kua. Mahalo e na kupuna la ea. Mahalo me ke aloha la. Mahalo me ke aloha la. Mahalo to each and every one of you. May your days be blessed, and your children and grandchildren in your community too. Aloha.
Aloha, mahalo. Wow, so beautiful, Auntie. Amazing. Thank you, Kum Sabra, and may we extend the good energy of this circle to the people of Maui and Hawaii, to the Shipibo community, to the people in so many places in the world who are suffering and struggling at this moment, whether it's personally or on a bigger level. There's many places in the world where things are happening. And may we breathe out some of the good energy of this fresh breath that this circle has been. Just before we leave, in one of our next circles, we are going to ask our community to present us with questions. I'm not sure when it's going to happen because our elders already are sensing some things that are possible for the next ones. But we will be collecting questions. So if there's things that you feel that are coming to you, you can either put them in the chat box or I will put in my email and you can email me, and we will address it. We will let our elders look at it, and also in the circle, once we have that circle, we will give a few minutes for the here and the now to bring whatever it will bring through you. And then, of course, the circle will do the talking through the elders. They will look at all of these questions and feel what needs to come to the circle at that moment. And yeah, I think that's it. Have I forgotten
We have a
anything?
date, Yael.
Diana?
We have a date.
We
for
have
our-
a date? Okay. Then tell us, because I can't remember at the moment.
I believe we said Wednesday, September 24th.
I think Wednesday is September later, but let me just check the calendar real quick. 24th is Sunday, 27th is Wednesday. I think we were discussing the 27th.
Yeah, I didn't look at the calendar. I just consulted the invisible mind, and it sent me a ride this moment.
Okay.
So
So the
27th.
27th, the same time as today, right? Same time.
Yeah, same time. So same date as well. 27th is today too. That's what threw me off.
Right. Okay. So we will have the chat box for some questions or some offerings. I will stop the recording and then you can unmute yourself if you want and say your farewell until next time. This has been a wonderful co-creation. Any encounter is a co-creation, and this was a beautiful one. So thank you all for allowing that. And Liberty, if you can stop the YouTube.